Hello, welcome to this episode of Bookish Time with Jenny. Today I want to talk about The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Pinner. A publisher thinks a lot of a first-time author when they make tote bags for it. The back says, "A secret network of women, a forgotten history of revenge." If you're a reader, you've probably seen this book somewhere. It's on every list. It's a Barnes & Noble book club pick. It's the second week. It's a New York Times bestseller. It was a book of the month pick. I know of at least 2 book boxes that picked this book for their March book. I actually got an advanced copy of this back in October, early November. But I kept putting off reading it because I had a feeling it was going to be amazing, but sometimes I want to put off reading it just so I can savor it. I don't know. I know that doesn't really make sense. Maybe some other people do that too, but I had a feeling I would love it. And it wasn't that I was worried I would be disappointed. It was just, I don't know, once you've read a book for the first time, you can only have one first time with the book. But anyway, so I finally picked it up this week, and I accidentally read it in one day. My cat's right behind the camera playing. But yes, like I said, I accidentally read this in a day. Because I was like, oh, I'm going to, start to read it. Because I knew I wanted to do the video about it. And, read the first couple chapters. I was also at work at the time. And, but I finally got to a point where, if I got interrupted, I swear I would practically growl. No, don't, I'm at a part. I just can't put it down. But it's set in 2 different time periods. One of them is current, and then current pre-COVID. And then the other one is 18th century London, which I do have a soft spot for London. I've been there a couple times. And, but there's a hidden apothecary shop that caters to an unusual kind of clientele. Women across the city whisper of a mysterious figure named Nella who sells well-disguised poisons to use against the oppressive men in their lives. And then in current day, Carolyn is an aspiring historian. She discovers an aged apothecary vial in the River Thames while she's mudlarking, which I'm sure I've heard that term because I have an English literature degree, but it had left my head. I've never been mudlarking, and I don't know, it's just such a weird word to say, but it sounds fun. Now I want to. But basically mudlarking is, the river rises or the tide rises and goes. So it brings different items up, pieces of shells, pieces of glass. You rarely find things completely intact, but in the case of this story, she finds an intact apothecary vial. So that she starts researching because it has an imprint of a bear on it. So that kind of helps identify it. It has no other markings on it. And normally, I have to admit, I'm not a fan of multiple narrators. This one actually has 3 because it's Carolyn in the present time, Nella in the 18th century, and then a 12-year-old girl starts to help Nella called Eliza. So you get some Eliza and you get some Nella. And then there's a few twists that you don't see coming. And I know I say this in most videos, but I do very rarely read a book in a day. Especially, I haven't been the best reader during COVID. Stay-at-home order, I thought I would read all these books. I read 2 the entire, we were off for 7 weeks. We were close to the public longer than, we didn't stay at home that entire time. But, like I said, I'm not the only one that loves this because it's literally on every list. There's a waiting list at my library, so you can join it. Since it's a New York Times bestseller, that should mean we get more copies. I'm not actually the one that does that particular ordering. So, and then I purposely waited until my tapestry had come in. And these are so in demand. I got it from a local shop, but they sell out and it takes them about a month to get them back. But I felt the quote related to this book, kind of like the quote on the bag. It says, "Here's to strong women. May we know them, may we raise them, may we be them." So I thought it was fitting. Plus, the book kind of goes with it. And in case you're wondering how I hung that, because it is the tapestry, I Googled it. I hung it up with Velcro. I got industrial strength from the craft aisle in Walmart. But like I said, I want to say, like, it's not witchy. I know apothecary might lead some people to think, it's witchcraft. It's not. It's a beginner's guide to witchcraft. I don't know. Like, don't be scared if you don't like witchy stuff. It's not really. It's more, she uses, there's no witchcraft. It's natural poisons and stuff and that part was very interesting. Because, like, for example, I won't tell you the whole circumstances, so it's not a spoiler, but, like, one of them, she's put poison in an egg, so you fix somebody's eggs for breakfast, and one egg should be enough, but 2 would be better. But yeah, so, like I said, I adore this book. This is actually a signed copy from an indie bookstore. So, like I said, I got this from a publisher, but some indie bookstores were selling them too, so I ordered again so a friend of mine could get a tote bag. But so, this month's recommendation, Lost Apothecary, Sarah Pinner. There's a whole list at the library, but hopefully more copies are coming. If you like, Vengeful. This is not the edition I read, so I was like, it doesn't have what I wanted to show you. Well, it kind of does. This plays not important, but it does play a role in the book. Little buggy, little beetle. But if you like beginner's guide to witches, like I said, it's not a full-on practical magic. It's just apothecary related, which is I think kind of made me want to start researching. If I hadn't been a librarian, I probably would have been some sort of historian or, so Lost Apothecary. Let me know when you read it. Let me know if you read it in a day.